It's a promise, a commitment. The kind fathers make to sons when they're trying to make up for lost time. I don't know if 18 years can be recovered, but watching them try is something. After dinner, Luciano and I stand on my porch while Ethan's inside on a video call with friends. It's cold, winter in a small town, the kind of night where you can see your breath. He's going to be remarkable, Luciano says. More than either of us. He already is. Because of you. Because you chose to raise him alone rather than bring him into darkness. That took courage I don't think I have. You have it. You proved it. You got out. Built something better. Fought for him when you barely knew him. That's courage too. We stand in comfortable silence. Two people connected by a week 18 years ago that changed everything. By a son who's the best parts of both of us. By choices that led us here. I have something for you too, Luciano says. He handed me a letter. Sealed. My name on it in his handwriting. What is it? Open it when you're ready. No ruse. But I wanted you to have it. Wanted you to know he stops. Starts again. Wanted you to know that you saved more than my life that week. You saved who I could become. You showed me what peace felt like. And I spent 18 years trying to be worthy of that gift. I don't know if I succeeded. But I tried. Every day. I tried. He leaves before I can respond. Drives away in his expensive car, back to his expensive hotel. Back to the empire he's transforming one decision at a time. I don't open the letter that night. Or the next. I carry it with me. In my purse. In my pocket. A promise waiting to be understood. Finally, a week later, alone in the flower shop after closing, I open it. The letter is short. Just a few lines in his careful handwriting. Maricela, you taught me that power isn't fear. It's peace. That strength isn't violence. It's choosing kindness when you have every reason not to. That legacy isn't what you inherit. It's what you create. I never stopped looking for you because I needed to say thank you. Thank you for saving my life. Thank you for raising our son to be better than his bloodline. Thank you for showing me that redemption is possible, even for people like me. Everything I built for you. To prove that the man you saved in that storage room was worth saving. To prove that peace is possible, even in a world built on fear. You gave me forever in that week, and I'll spend the rest of my life trying to deserve it. With gratitude and something deeper than words, Luciano. I read it 3 times, fold it carefully, put it back in the envelope, and I cry. Not sad tears, not happy tears, just tears of release, of understanding, of accepting that some stories don't end neatly. They just evolve into new chapters. 5 years pass. Ethan graduates with honors, takes a position with the foundation, starts implementing changes that make it even better than Luciano imagined. He's careful with the power, thoughtful with the resources, everything I hoped he'd be. Luciano and I develop a friendship, deep, complicated, built on history and respect, and a son we're both proud of. We have dinner when he's in the States, coffee when I'm in Europe visiting Ethan. We talk about everything except what we might have been if circumstances were different. Then one day I get a call. Luciano's in the hospital. Heart attack. Not severe, but serious enough. Ethan and I fly to Europe immediately. He looks smaller in the hospital bed. Older. Mortal in a way I've never seen him before. But when he sees us, he smiles. Dramatic way to get you both to visit, he says weakly. Shut up, I tell him. Don't joke about this. I'm fine. Doctors say I'll be fine. Just need to slow down. Stress less. Apparently, transforming a criminal empire into a legitimate enterprise is bad for your heart. Who knew? Ethan grabs his hand. You're not going anywhere. You've got too much left to do. We've got too much left to do, Luciano corrects. You and me, building this thing together. If you want. I want, Ethan says. They talk for hours. About business. About legacy. About the future. And I sit in the corner of the hospital room, watching them, and I realize something. I spent 18 years protecting Ethan from his father's world. But maybe that world needed Ethan more than Ethan needed protecting from it. Maybe the point wasn't to keep them apart. It was to prepare Ethan to change what needed changing. To bring peace to a place built on fear. Maybe I was never protecting him from his destiny. I was preparing him for it. Luciano recovers. Goes back to work, but slower now. Ethan takes on more responsibility. They build something together, father and son, creating a legacy that's theirs. 10 more years pass. I'm in my 50s now. The flower shop is thriving. Ethan's running the foundation. Luciano's semi-retired, but still involved. Still fighting. Still trying to prove that redemption is possible. One day, I get a call from Ethan. Mom, you need to come to the foundation office. There's something you need to see. I drive over confused. When I arrive, the entire staff is there. Ethan, Luciano, everyone. What's going on? I ask. Ethan hands me a plaque. It reads, the Maricela Dune Center for Second Chances. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is start over. I'm speechless. Literally can't form words. We're opening a new branch of the foundation, Ethan explains. Focus specifically on helping people rebuild after betrayal, after loss, after the world tries to destroy them. It's named after you, because you're the reason any of this exists, because you showed us all what it means to survive with grace. Luciano steps forward. He's older now, gray hair, more scars, but his eyes are the same. You saved my life once, in a storage room in a hotel, and you've been saving it every day since. This is just us trying to pay that forward, to help other people the way you helped me. I cry. Can't help it. They've taken my pain, my story, my choices, and turned them into something that helps people, something that matters. Thank you, I manage. Thank you for seeing me, for honoring this, for everything. Thank you, Luciano says, for being the storm, for being the peace, for being everything we needed when we needed it most. Years later, I'm 70. The center has helped thousands of people, given them second chances, fresh starts, hope when they had none. Ethan's married now, has kids, gives them the stability I gave him, plus the legacy Luciano built. Luciano's gone, died peacefully in his sleep at 75. Heart finally gave out, but before he did, he made sure everything was in order, made sure the foundation would continue. Made sure Ethan knew how proud he was. At his funeral, I find another letter. This one addressed to me, to be opened after his death. I read it alone, in my flower shop, surrounded by the roses and lilies I've been arranging for 50 years. Maricela, if you're reading this, I'm gone. And that's okay. I lived longer than I had any right to. Longer than most people with my history survive. And I lived well. Because of you. That week in the storage room, you showed me what peace felt like, and I spent the rest of my life chasing that feeling, building it, creating it for others. Every person we helped through the foundation, every life we changed. That was me trying to repay the debt I owed you. I never told you this when I was alive because it felt selfish, but I loved you, not romantically, not in the way movies portray, but deeply, fundamentally, the way you love someone who changes who you are at the core. You were my salvation. My proof that goodness exists even in darkness. Thank you for Ethan, for raising him to be better than his blood, for showing him that peace is power and kindness is strength, for being the mother he needed and the partner I never deserved. You once told me that people think silence means defeat, but in your silence, you became the storm. You were right. And watching you weather every challenge with grace taught me more about strength than any battle I ever fought. I hope you're proud of what we built, of who Ethan became, of the lives we changed. I hope you know that none of it would exist without you. Without that moment you chose to help instead of hide, to save instead of run. You taught me that power isn't fear, it's peace. And in loving you, I finally found mine. Forever grateful, Luciano. I fold the letter carefully, put in the box with all the others he wrote me over the years. Letters of gratitude, of respect, of a love that existed outside traditional definitions. And I smile, because we did it. We took a moment of chaos and turned it into a lifetime of peace. We took pain and built purpose. We took a child born from violence and raised him to choose kindness. People thought silence meant defeat, but in my silence, I prepared the storm. And when it came, I didn't destroy. I transformed. I built. I loved. I gave Ethan a life without fear. Luciano found redemption. And I discovered that sometimes the quietest revenge is living well, is choosing peace, is building something beautiful from the ashes of what tried to destroy you. That's the real legacy. Not money, not power, not names or empires, but the choice to be kind when you have every reason to be cruel, to help when you could hide, to love when you should run. That's what Luciano and I taught Ethan. That's what Ethan's teaching his children. That's what the foundation teaches thousands of people every year. That's the storm, and it's beautiful. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications. We have more powerful stories coming that will inspire you and remind you that sometimes the quiet ones change everything. Share your thoughts in the comments below and let us know how this story spoke to you. Your words might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. See you in the next story, and remember, silence isn't defeat. Sometimes it's the storm preparing to transform the world. I'm presenting options. Help me bring Luciano back into the family. Help me restore what should never have been changed. Or watch everything burn. Scholarships revoked. Reputations destroyed. Opportunities vanished. Your choice. Luciano appears then. He must have been called by security. He walks straight to our table, face calm, but eyes burning. Marco, I wondered when you'd show up. Brother, you've been hiding quite the secret. A son, 18 years old. Brilliant from what I hear. Looks like he might be useful after all. Touch him and I'll kill you myself. Luciano says conversationally, like he's discussing weather. There's the brother I remember. All that civilized veneer stripped away in a second. See, Ethan? This is who your father really is. A man who threatens to kill his own blood over business disagreements. This isn't business, Luciano says. This is family. And you stopped being family the moment you decided to use my son as leverage. Marco stands. Think about my offer, brother. Help me restore what you destroyed. Or watch me dismantle everything you built, including that lovely little flower shop your son's mother owns back in the States. Be ashamed if something happened to it. Accidents happen in small towns. Fires, robberies, tragedies. He's threatening me now, threatening my life back home. The safe space I built for Ethan. You have 48 hours, Marco says. Then I start making things difficult. For all of you. He leaves. Just walks out like he didn't just blow up our lives. The cafe is silent. Everyone heard. Everyone knows. Ethan turns to Luciano. Is he serious? Would he really destroy everything? Yes, Luciano says simply. He would. He spent 3 years waiting for this moment. Waiting for something he could use against me. And now he has it. So what do we do? Luciano looks at me. At Ethan. At the ruins of the safety we try to build. We do what we should have done from the beginning. We fight back. Together. As a family. Family. The word hangs in the air. We're not a family. Not really. We're 3 people connected by biology and circumstance and choices made in the dark. But maybe that's enough. Maybe that's all family ever is. I need to make some calls, Luciano says. Get you both somewhere safe. And then I need to finish what I started 3 years ago. I need to end this. Permanently. Ending it means what exactly? I ask. He looks at me and I see it. The darkness he's been fighting. The violence he's been avoiding. The part of himself he tried to bury but never could. It means I stop running from who I was and use it to protect who I am now. It means I become the thing Marco's always accused me of being. A hypocrite. A killer in a suit. Whatever I need to be to keep you both safe. No. Ethan's voice is firm. No, that's not how we do this. You spent years getting out. Building something better. We're not destroying that now. There has to be another way. There isn't, Luciano says. Not with Marco. Not with men like him. They only understand one language. Then we teach them a new one, Ethan insists. We outsmart him. We expose him. We use the very legitimacy you built against him. Make it public. Make it legal. Make it impossible for him to operate in the shadows. I watch my son talk my son's father down from violence. Watch him offer hope when there should be none. And I realize something. We did this. Luciano and I. We created someone better than either of us. Someone who sees a third option when we only see 2. Okay, Luciano says slowly. Okay, let's try it your way. But if it doesn't work, if he escalates, We do this my way. Agreed. Agreed. They shake hands. Father and son, meeting in the middle, building something new from the wreckage of what was. The security guy approaches. Sir, we need to move. Marco's men are circling. It's not safe here. We leave through the back. Get into cars with tinted windows. Drive through cobblestone streets toward a safe house Luciano owns. And somewhere in that drive, as I watch my son and his father talk strategy, I realize this is what I was afraid of all along. Not the danger, not the violence, but this. The moment when my son stops being just mine and becomes ours. The moment when the world I've built isn't enough anymore. We reach the safe house. It's an apartment in an old building. Secure. The kind of place that doesn't ask questions. Luciano's security team sweeps it while we wait in the hallway. All clear, the head of security says. His name is Victor, former military. The kind of man who sees threats before they materialize. Inside, Luciano pulls out a laptop, starts pulling up documents, financial records, business transactions, evidence he's been collecting for 3 years, waiting for this moment. Marco's operations aren't as clean as he thinks, Luciano explains. He's been using legitimate businesses as fronts for money laundering, tax evasion, fraud. I've been building a case, quietly, waiting for the right moment to hand it over to the authorities. Why wait? Ethan asks. Why not turn him in years ago? Because exposing him means exposing the family, means destroying businesses that employ thousands of people, means collateral damage I wasn't willing to accept. But now he's threatened you, both of you, and that changes everything. Ethan leans over the laptop, studying the documents with the same intensity he brings to everything. This is solid, but it's not enough. You need something current, something active, proof that he's still operating illegally. Otherwise, good lawyers will tear this apart. I know, that's the problem. So we give him rope, I say quietly. Both of them turn to look at me. We make him think he's winning, make him confident enough to make a mistake. Record it, document it, use his own arrogance against him. Luciano shakes his head. Too dangerous. That puts you both at risk. We're already at risk, Ethan counters. Mom's right. We need fresh evidence. And I can get it. Absolutely not. Luciano and I say simultaneously. Ethan looks between us. This is my life you're protecting. My future he's threatening. Let me help. Let me be part of the solution instead of just the problem. Have you ever watched someone you love walk into danger and how to let them go? Share your thoughts below. We spend hours arguing, planning, discarding plans, building new ones. Finally, we land on something that might work. It's risky. It requires perfect timing, and it means trusting people we shouldn't have to trust. Ethan will meet with Marco, pretend to be curious about the family business, about his heritage, about the empire his grandfather built. He'll wear a wire. Get Marco talking. Get him to incriminate himself. I don't like this, I say for the 100th time. Neither do I, Luciano agrees. But it's the only play we have. Marco's expecting either capitulation or violence. He won't see this coming. The meeting is set for tomorrow night. Some restaurant Marco owns. Public enough to be safe. Private enough for honest conversation. Or so Marco will think. That night, I can't sleep. I pace the safe house while Luciano works, and Ethan studies like this is just another day. Like tomorrow, he's not walking into a meeting with a dangerous man who sees him as leverage. Around 2 in the morning, Luciano finds me standing by the window. He'll be okay. I'll have 12 people in that restaurant. Victor will be at the next table. Nothing will happen to him. You can't promise that. You can't control everything. No, but I can try. For him. For you. He pauses. I spent 18 years imagining what it would be like to find you. To have a chance to be part of his life. This isn't how I pictured it. How did you picture it? Quieter. Simpler. Maybe I'd show up with flowers. Ask you to dinner. Awkwardly try to connect with a son who didn't know me. Normal things. Safe things. We were never going to be normal or safe, I tell him. Not with who you are. Who you were. Not with the choices I made. Do you regret them? The choices. I think about it. Really think about it. No. I gave Ethan a childhood without fear, without looking over his shoulder. That was worth 18 years of secrets. Even if those secrets are destroying us now. We're not destroyed. We're just different than we expected to be. He moves closer, not touching but present. I never stopped thinking about you. That week in the storage room. The way you saved me without hesitation. The peace I felt around you. I built everything after to try to deserve that peace. To become someone worthy of it. You were always worthy, Luciano. You were just born into the wrong family. So was Marco. But he chose differently. That's what scares me. The idea that Ethan might have to choose too. Might have to decide what kind of Varelli he wants to be. He won't. Because he's not just a Varelli. He's a Dune. And the Dunes choose kindness. Even when it costs us everything. The next evening comes too fast. Ethan puts on the wire. Victor checks it 3 times. Luciano goes over the plan again. And I try not to throw up from anxiety. I'll be fine, Mom. Ethan says, hugging me. This is just a conversation. Just talking. I do that every day. Not with criminals who threaten your education and your mother's livelihood. Fair point. He smiles. That smile that's all mine and all Luciano's at the same time. But still, I got this. He leaves with Victor, Luciano, and I go to the surveillance van parked 3 blocks from the restaurant. Monitors everywhere. Audio feeds. Visual confirmations. It's like something from a movie, except it's my son walking into danger, and I can't do anything but watch. The feed crackles to life. We hear Ethan being seated, ordering water, making small talk with the waiter. Then Marco arrives. Ethan, good to see you again. I'm glad you came. You didn't leave me much choice. There's always a choice. You chose curiosity. That's a Varelli trait. We're curious creatures. Always wanted to know how things work. How to make them work better. Or how to break them, Ethan says. Marco laughs. Exactly. You understand. That's good. That's very good. The conversation continues. Marco talks about the family business, about legacy, about power, and slowly, carefully, Ethan guides him toward specifics, toward admissions, toward evidence. So to the shipping business, Ethan says, that's all legitimate now, all above board. Mostly, Marco says, there are always gray areas in international commerce, regulations that are more suggestions than laws. We exploit those. Nothing illegal, just clever. Exploit how? And there it is. Marco starts talking about customs fraud, about bribing officials, about shell companies and false manifests. Everything we need. Everything Luciano's been trying to get for 3 years. Ethan's doing it. He's actually doing it. Then the audio cuts out. Just stops. Mid-sentence. Complete silence. Luciano's on his feet immediately. Victor? Victor, report. Static. Then Victor's voice. Wire's been compromised. Someone jammed it. Moving to visual confirmation. On the monitors, we watch Victor stand from his table. See him move toward Ethan and Marco. See Marco's men intercept him. It's a trap, I whisper. Marco knew. He knew all along. Luciano's already moving. Out of the van. Toward the restaurant. I follow because there's no way I'm staying behind. Not when my son is in danger. We burst through the restaurant doors. The place is empty except for Marco's men. And Marco. And Ethan. Standing there. Calm. Unafraid. Luciano. Marco says. Right on time. I told Ethan you'd come running. That you've gone soft. That family makes you weak. Let him go, Luciano says. This is between us. It's always been between us. But you made it about him when you decided to build a new life. A better life. Did you really think I let you have that? Let you prove that we could have been different all along. So what's your plan? Kill us all? That solves nothing. Kill you? No. I need you alive. Need you to come back to the family. Run it properly. With me. Like father always wanted. Marco pulls out a gun. Not pointing it at anyone. Just holding it. Making a point. And Ethan's the reason you'll do it. Because if you don't, accidents happen. To him. To his mother. To everyone you've tried to protect. The room is frozen. Everyone waiting for the next move. The next choice. And then Ethan speaks. You made a mistake. Marco looks at him. What? You made a mistake. You thought the wire was the play. That recording you was the goal. But it wasn't. Ethan nods toward the restaurant's security cameras. Those have been recording everything. Every word, every threat, every admission. And they're live streaming to 3 different law enforcement agencies right now. Marco's face changes. Confusion, realization, rage. The wire was bait. Ethan continues. You were so focused on finding it, jamming it, proving you were smarter than us. You forgot about the obvious. The cameras that have been here all along. The ones your own security company installed. Luciano's security company. Of course. He owned the building. Controlled the cameras. This was always the real plan. Police sirens in the distance. Getting closer. Marco's men are shifting, looking to their boss for orders. Marco's looking at the cameras. At Luciano. At the empire crumbling around him. You did this, Marco says to Luciano. You destroyed our family. No, Luciano de Place. You did that all on your own. I just made sure everyone could see it. The police arrive. Arrest Marco. Take his men. Reed writes that sounds surreal in this expensive restaurant that minutes ago was a trap. We give statements. Show documentation. Hand over everything Luciano's been building for 3 years. And then we're free to go. Just like that. The danger that's been chasing us for 18 years, caught in a single night. Outside, on the European street, the 3 of us stand together. Father, mother, son, survivors of different wars that converged into this moment. That was insane. I say finally. That was necessary. Luciano corrects. That was terrifying, Ethan adds. And I'm never doing anything like that again. We all laugh. The kind of laugh that comes after survival. After fear. After everything. But I know this isn't over. Not really. Because Marco's in custody, but the Varelli Empire still exists. And someone needs to decide what happens to it. What it becomes. Someone needs to decide who they are after the war is won. What would you do with an empire built on blood that could be transformed into something better? 3 months later, I'm back in my flower shop, arranging roses for a wedding. Normal life. Safe life. Except nothing's normal anymore. Nothing's safe. But maybe that's okay. Maybe safe was always an illusion anyway. Ethan comes home for winter break. He's different now. Older somehow. The kind of older that comes from facing danger and realizing you're stronger than you thought. He talks about his classes, his research, his friends. Normal things. But there's a depth to him now that wasn't there before. Luciano visits. Not often, but regularly. He's dismantling the last of the Varelli criminal operations. Turning everything legitimate. Building something his father never could have imagined. Something his grandfather would have hated. Something that might actually help people instead of hurt them. The foundation's expanding, he tells us over dinner in my small house. The house I've lived in for 18 years. The house that's mine. We're adding programs for kids in the foster system. Single mothers try to rebuild. People who need second chances. People like Mom, Ethan says. Exactly like your mom, Luciano agrees. It's strange. This new dynamic. We're not a traditional family. Luciano lives in Europe. Ethan's at university. I'm here running my shop. But we're connected. We talk. We visit. We're figuring it out as we go. Marco's trial starts next month, Luciano mentions. They're expecting a long sentence. Multiple charges. Federal and international. He won't be a problem anymore. Good, I say, and I mean it. There's something else. Luciano pulls out an envelope. Sets it on my kitchen table. I have my lawyers draw this up. Everything I have. The legitimate businesses. The foundation. The properties. All of it goes to Ethan. When he's ready. If he wants it. Ethan stares at the envelope like it might explode. I'm 18. I'm not ready to run an empire. I know. That's why it's a trust. Managed by people I trust until you decide what you want to do with it. Use it. Change it. Donate it all. Whatever you choose. But it's yours. Your inheritance. Not because of blood, but because you're exactly the kind of person who should have that kind of power. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss a story like this. Share your thoughts in the comments and inspire others with your journey. Ethan looks at me. I nod. Your choice, baby. Always your choice. He takes the envelope. Doesn't open it. Just holds it. Thank you for trusting me with this. But I need time. Need to figure out who I am before I decide what to do with all that. Take all the time you need, Luciano says. I'm not going anywhere. He wants to meet with us. Both of us. Said he owes you a proper thank you for whatever you did for him. Can we? Please? This guy's like a legend. He turned his family's business completely around. Made it legitimate. People study his case in business school. My son is excited. My son, who never asks for anything, who spent his whole life watching me struggle and never complaining, is asking for this one thing. How do I say no? How do I explain that meeting with Luciano isn't about gratitude? It's about opening a door I've kept locked for 18 years. Okay, I hear myself say, we can meet with him. Ethan's smile could light cities. You're the best, Mom. Seriously, the meeting is set for that evening. Some restaurant near the university that probably costs more per meal than I make in a week. I wear the nicest thing I packed, which isn't saying much. Ethan wears his new university hoodie, still creased from the package. Luciano's already there when we arrive. Private table in the back. The kind of setup that says this conversation is important. He stands when he sees us. Shakes Ethan's hand like he's meeting a business partner, not the son he didn't know existed. Thank you for coming, he says. Both of you. We sit. Order food I can't taste. Make small talk about the university, the city, the weather. Safe topics. Neutral ground. But under the table, my leg won't stop bouncing. And across from me, Luciano's watching Ethan with an intensity that's going to give us away. So what did my mom do for you? Ethan asks. She never talks about it. Luciano looks at me. I can see the question in his eyes. How much can I say? How much truth can this moment hold? Your mother saved my life, he says simply. When everyone else walked away, she stayed. She chose kindness when she had every reason to choose safety. That's not something you forget. Ethan looks at me with new eyes. Proud eyes. That sounds like her. The conversation continues. Business talk. Education talk. Dreams and futures and possibilities. And slowly, I watch it happen. Watch my son and his father connect over ideas and passion and a way of seeing the world that's identical. They're so alike it hurts. Same gestures. Same inflection. Same fierce intelligence. How'd I ever think I could keep this secret forever? The dinner ends. Luciano pays despite my protests. We're walking out when Ethan's phone rings. He steps away to take it, leaving Luciano and me alone for the first time since the cafe. He's remarkable, Luciano says quietly. You did an incredible job raising him. Thank you. But he deserves the truth, Maricela. And so do I. Not because of biology. Not because of rights or laws or any of that. But because lies, even loving ones, eventually collapse. And when they do, the damage is worse than anything the truth could have caused. Before I can respond, Ethan returns. That was Professor Marks. Wants to meet tomorrow about a research position. This place is insane. I've been here 3 days, and already opportunities are everywhere. We say goodbye. Luciano shakes Ethan's hand again, and this time I see him holding on just a second longer than necessary. Memorizing. Connecting. Hoping. Ethan and I walk back to his dorm through streets lit by old-fashioned lamps. He's talking about classes and professors and new friends. And I'm barely listening because all I can think is that time's running out. The truth is a flood, and I'm holding it back with my bare hands. We reach his building. He hugged me goodnight. Love you, Mom. Thank you for making this possible. Love you too, baby. He heads inside, and I stand there on the cobblestones in this ancient city, wondering how much longer I can protect him from a truth that might set him free. Then I see the car. Black. Expensive. Idling at the corner. And the man getting out of it isn't Luciano. He's older. Harder. And when he looks at Ethan's dorm, when he looks at me, I see recognition. I see calculation. I see danger in his suit. And I know, the past isn't just catching up. It's been waiting all along. What would you do if protecting your child meant confronting everything you've been running from? The man doesn't approach me. He doesn't need to. The message is clear in the way he looks at Ethan's dorm, then at me, then at his watch like he's timing something. He gets back in the car and drives away slowly, deliberately, making sure I see him leave. I'm shaking when I call Luciano. He answers on the first ring like he's been expecting this. There was a man. I say without greeting. Outside Ethan's dorm. He knew. I could tell he knew. I'm coming to get you. Stay in public. Stay where there are people. Luciano, what's happening? You said you got out. You said you left that world behind. I did. But that doesn't mean the world left me behind. 20 minutes. I'll explain everything. Just stay safe. He hangs up, and I'm alone on a European street, thousands of miles from home, realizing that running never solved anything. It just delayed the inevitable. Luciano picks me up in front of a busy cafe. I get in the car, and he drives without speaking. We end up at his hotel. Of course we do. The place I said I wouldn't go. But safety trumps pride every time. His suite is on the top floor. Windows overlooking the city. The kind of space that costs more per night than I make in a month. He pours me water I don't drink and sits across from me like we're about to negotiate a peace treaty. My father's dead, he says. Has been for 3 years. I thought that ended it. Thought that with him gone, the old grudges would die too. But my brother, Marco, he never forgave me for getting out, for turning legitimate. He sees it as betrayal, as weakness. What does that have to do with Ethan? Everything. If Marco knows about Ethan, if he knows I have a son, he'll use him. Not to hurt him necessarily, but to control me. To pull me back into the family business. To prove that you can't ever really get out. My blood goes cold. You brought this to him. You knew they might be watching. You knew, and you came to that airport anyway. I didn't know you'd be there. I swear. The foundation operates independently. When I saw Ethan's application, saw his mother's name, I thought it was coincidence. A common name. I never imagined. But you came anyway. You couldn't leave it alone. No, he admits. I couldn't. Because 18 years of looking for you doesn't just stop because it's inconvenient. Because I needed to know if you were real or if I'd invented you to survive the worst years of my life. There's raw honesty in his voice that disarms me. This isn't manipulation. This is truth. Have you ever found someone again only to realize finding them might destroy them? Share your story below. What do we do? I ask finally. We tell Ethan the truth. Tonight. Before Marco does. Before this gets messy, eh? He'll hate me. He'll hate me for lying all these years. Maybe. Probably. But he'll hate you more if someone else tells him first. If he learns it as a weapon instead of as truth spoken in love. He's right. Again. Always right about the hard things. We pick up Ethan from a study group. He's confused about why we're both there. Why we're driving him to Luciano's hotel instead of his dorm. But he comes. Because he trusts me. Because I've never given him a reason not to. The three of us sit in that expensive suite. Ethan on one couch. Luciano and me on the other. And I start talking. I tell him everything. The airport. The betrayal. The explosion. The storage room. The way Luciano and I connected in the space between danger and hope. The pregnancy. The choice I made to keep him safe by keeping him hidden. Ethan listens without interrupting. His face goes through stages. Confusion. Disbelief. Anger. Understanding. Pain. It's like watching him age years in minutes. When I'm done, silence fills the room like smoke. So you lied to me, Ethan says finally. For 18 years you lied. I protected you. You lied. You decided I couldn't handle truth. Decided I was too weak or too young or too something to know where I came from. Who I came from. Ethan. And you. He turns to Luciano. You show up with your foundation and your money and your story about second chances, but really you're just another guy with a dangerous past who ruins people's lives. That's not fair, I say. Fair? What's fair about any of this? What's fair about finding out your whole life is built on a lie? About learning that the man funding your education is your father and everyone new except you. He's right to be angry, right to feel betrayed. I've prepared for this moment for 18 years, and I'm still not ready for how much it hurts. Luciano stands, walks to the window. When he speaks, his voice is controlled, but I can hear the emotion underneath. You're right to be angry. At both of us. At me for existing. At your mother for keeping secrets. But she did what she thought was right. She chose your safety over everything else, including her own happiness. That's not weakness. That's love. Love is also truth. Ethan shoots back. Love is trusting someone enough to let them make their own choices. You're 18, I say quietly. But you weren't always. And when you were 6, when you were 10, when you were 14, what would you have done with this information? Would you have been safer knowing? Or would you have been a target? He doesn't have an answer for that. None of us do. The silence stretches. Finally, Ethan stands. I need time. I need to think. His voice breaks. I need to not be here right now. He leaves, just walks out, and I start to follow, but Luciano stops me. Let him go. Let him process. Chasing him now will only make it worse. He's my son. He's our son, and he's stronger than you think. You raised him that way. I sink onto the couch, put my head in my hands, and for the first time in 18 years, I let myself break. Let myself cry for the choice I made, for the pain it caused, for the impossible situation we're all in now. Luciano sits beside me, doesn't touch me, doesn't offer empty comfort, just sits there in solidarity while I fall apart. There's something else, he says when I've cried myself empty. Marco's not just watching. He's planning something. I have people looking into it, but we need to be prepared. We need to keep Ethan safe. How? How do we keep him safe from something we can't see? We don't hide. We don't run. We stand together and we face it. That's the only way through. Standing together. It sounds simple. It's the hardest thing in the world. My phone buzzes. A text from Ethan. I am okay. At a friend's place. Needs space. Don't come looking. At least he's communicating. At least he's safe. For now. Tell me about Marco, I say. Tell me what we're really dealing with. So Luciano does. He tells me about his brother's obsession with power. About the empire their father built on blood that Marco wants to restore. About the legitimate businesses Luciano created that Marco sees as weakness. About the war between them that never really ended, just went underground. He's been waiting for leverage, Luciano says. Waiting for something he could use against me. And now he has it. Now he has Ethan. Then we leave. We go back to the States. We disappear again. Running worked once. It won't work twice. Marco has resources, connections. He'll find you. And when he does, you won't have me there to help. So what? We just wait for him to make his move. We make ours first. We protect Ethan by being honest about the danger. By preparing him. By not treating him like a child who needs protecting, but like a man who deserves the truth. It goes against every instinct I have. But Luciano's right. Treating Ethan like he's fragile will only make him vulnerable. We spend the rest of the night planning. Security for Ethan's dorm. Routes he should avoid. People he should trust. It feels like preparing for war. Maybe because that's exactly what it is. At 3 a.m, my phone rings. Unknown number. I answer because fear makes you reckless. Mrs. Dune. A man's voice. Polite. Professional. Terrifying in its calmness. My name is Marco Varelli. I believe you know my brother. I think it's time we had a conversation. About family. About legacy. About your son. The line goes dead. And I know. The war we've been avoiding has finally found us. How far would you go to protect your child from a danger you helped create? Dawn breaks over Europe like it has every right to. Like the world isn't about to explode. Luciano spent the night making calls, activating networks, pulling strings I don't understand. I spent it drinking coffee and trying not to imagine every worst-case scenario. At 7, my phone rings again. This time it's Ethan. Mom, we need to talk. Can you meet me at the university cafe? Just you. Just you. Not Luciano. My son's drawing lines. Choosing sides. I don't blame him, but it hurts anyway. I'll be there in 20 minutes. Luciano insists on sending security. A driver who looks more like military than chauffeur. You don't go anywhere alone. Not until we know what Marco's planning. Ethan asked for just me. Fine. But my guy stays in the cafe. Non-negotiable. I'm too tired to argue. Ethan's already there when I arrive. He looks like he didn't sleep either. There's coffee in front of him he hasn't touched. I sit down and wait because this is his conversation to start. I talked to Professor Marks last night. He says, about everything. She's been my advisor since I got accepted. I trust her. Okay. She told me something about the Varelli family, about their history, about what they were and what Luciano's trying to make them become. She said what he did, turning that business legitimate. It's unprecedented. People study it, admire it, but she also said it came at a cost. that people died in the transition. That violence was involved. That's the world I was protecting you from, I tell him quietly. I know. I get now. I was angry last night because I felt betrayed. But I've been thinking. You were 24. Alone. Pregnant. Scared. You made the best choice you could with what you knew. I might not agree with it, but I understand it. The relief that floods through me is physical. Thank you. But Mom, we can't keep hiding. This Marco guy, he's not going to just go away. And if he knows about me, if he's planning something, then hiding makes me look weak. Makes me look like a target. You're a target. That's the problem. Then let's make me a hard target. Let's face this head on. I hear Luciano in those words. That refusal to back down. That determination to control the narrative instead of being controlled by it. Genetics are funny things. You can run from them, but you can't hide. We're hashing out a plan when I see him. Marco Varedi, walking into the cafe like he owns it. Maybe he does. Men like that seem to own everything. He's younger than Luciano. Sharper somehow. Where Luciano has gravity, Marco has edges. He spots us immediately. Smiles like we're old friends. Mrs. Dune. And this must be Ethan. Family resemblance is striking. My brother's eyes. My mother's chin. The Varelli genes are strong. Ethan stiffens beside me. Luciano's security guy is already moving, phone to his ear, but Marco's faster. He sits down at our table uninvited. Relax. I'm not here to cause trouble. I'm here to meet my nephew, to extend an olive branch, to suggest that maybe we can all benefit from this situation. What do you want? I ask, voice steady despite my racing heart. Simple. I want Luciano to remember where he comes from, who his family is, what his responsibilities are. And I think Ethan here might be the perfect reminder. Would you confront danger directly or try to escape it? Tell us in the comments. I'm not a bargaining chip, Ethan says, and I've never been prouder or more terrified. Marco laughs. No, you're not. You're leverage. There's a difference. See, my brother thinks he can just walk away from the family business. Turn everything legitimate. Play philanthropist. But business, real business, it requires certain flexibilities, certain moral compromises. And Luciano's forgotten that. He hasn't forgotten, I say. He's evolved. There's a difference. Evolved. Marco tastes the word like it's sour. That's one way to put it. Weak is another. And weakness in our world gets you killed. I'm trying to prevent that. Trying to bring my brother home. And you two are going to help me. We're not helping you with anything, Ethan says. Marco's smile doesn't reach his eyes. You say that now. But let me paint you a picture. You're at this prestigious university. Full scholarship. Bright future. All funded by your father's foundation. But what happens when questions arise? About the funding. About legitimacy. About whether certain tax laws were followed. These investigations, they take time. They destroy reputations. They ruin futures. You're threatening my son's education? The mama bear in me is awake now.